Hey guys, what's going on? Time for another YouTube video. Today we're going to be talking about the other half of my last video, which was the freshwater spinning reels from Shimano from $100 to $700. Today we're going to be doing a two-part video. This one going over Shimano's low profile bait casting, and the reason I'm going to make this two parts is because Shimano has a ton of reels. I mean, the low profile bait casting market can start at $69 and go up to $600 or $550. But there are families of reels like SLX and Curado that have multiples. So we're going to break this up into two. But before we get to this video, if you guys could do me a favor, click subscribe down below. That'll make sure our videos get into your feed, and hit the get notifications bell. That'll make sure when we do a new video, you get to see it. So without further ado, let's talk about today's video. Each of these reels are going to be broken down by their main technologies and materials and options in terms of gear ratios and everything else. But for the most part, Shimano has a pretty easy system to understand. Now, regardless of what your budget is, it's always important to have the proper reel for the technique you're going to be doing, or if you're looking for a jack-of-all-trades reel, you know that the reel model you're looking at is available to suit your needs. So this is going to be an important thing to pay attention to as we go along. The first half of the video we're going to concentrate on, we're going to start all the way down at Caius at $69. We're going to work our way up through the Curado family, and that should get us to a point where we can leave all the higher end reels for the final video. Now let's start at the $70 or $69.99 price point. That would be Shimano's Caius reel. And the reason I'm starting at Caius is because it is the first Shimano reel that has the VBS variable braking system. That is the 6-pin variable braking system that is internally adjustable, that you have to go in and manually either activate or disengage the brake paddles. But it has been Shimano's tried and true braking system for as long as I can remember, for probably over 20 years now. What they've put in Caius is the newest, latest, and greatest VBS system. So it is the same braking system basically as you get in an SLX-A. The other thing you get with Caius, it is a graphite framed reel, but you get the S3D spool and the super free spool to help with better casting. Now, Caius is available in both left and right-handed in only one gear ratio. So that's the HG model. That's a 7.2 to 1. And that's going to bring in 28 inches of line per handle turn. So it makes it the perfect jack-of-all-trades reel. Whether you want to flip and pitch or burn spinner baits or slow down and crank, that 7 seems to be the right gear ratio to do just about everything. The other thing about this reel, like Shimano drags, are all basically rated the same, 11 pounds of stopping power, and the reel weighs in at 6.5 ounces. So it's a nice, lightweight, low-profile baitcaster that has a 150 spool size. For line capacities, 12-pound test, 110 yards of mono or fluoro, and 105 yards of 40-pound Power Pro, so plenty of line capacity to do a number of techniques from cranking to flipping. So this is really a great entry-level system reel that doesn't involve magnetic braking, that is easy to use, and really feels good for the price point. At $69.99, it's hard to argue. All right, next on the list is kind of where we started price point-wise in the spinning combination of freshwater reels. This is the $99 offering from Shimano for low-profile bait casting, and that is the very, very popular SLX-A. So this is the second generation of the SLX reel. This is their $99 entry-level price point. For what you're getting is basically the Hagane body. So that's the aluminum frame. Main frame is aluminum, and that promotes the rigidity and keeping all your gears in line. It still has the S3D spool. It still has VBS like the Caius, and it still has a super free spool, but you also get Silent Tune. Silent Tune is where they put two rubber O-rings on either side of the spool, and it really stops that whirring sound under high-speed reeling and casting. So really what you're gaining when you move from Caius to SLX, which is a $30 upgrade, is you're going to that metal body and that Silent Tune. This is a great reel because it's available in both left and right-handed in a 6.3, 7.2, and 8.2 to 1 gear ratio. So this reel has you covered. Same specs, same line capacity. This is a 150 size reel, but you're gaining a metal body, aluminum frame, and you're gaining Silent Tune. Now, for another $30, you jump up to the next SLX in the food chain, and that would be the SLX XT A version. So this is the new version that was released last year, and it got the same upgrade as SLX did in getting the Silent Tune feature. But same idea as what we saw in features with the SLX A. So you're getting that Hagane metal frame. you're getting the S3D spool, you're getting the super free spool, but you're also getting SVS infinity braking. That is a big deal with this reel because now you have not only the internal pads of the VBS braking system, but you have external adjustability that controls the race so you can micromanage your casting performance on the fly, whether you're with the wind, into the wind, changing baits. It is an external adjustable dial on this, and it has silent tune. So this reel, like SLX, there's actually 4 SLXs in the SLX family. This one has 3 gear ratios, 6.3, 7.2, 8.2 to 1, 11 pounds of stopping power, same 150 size spool, so line capacities are the same, but really what you're gaining here is SVS infinity braking, which is Shimano's top level braking that you can get, giving you the best casting performance possible, especially in a price point reel like this. This little reel is one of my favorites because for the money at $130, it is an incredible little low profile bait casting reel. All right, jumping up to the third in the SLX family would be the SLX 70. So this is a 70 size spool, so a little diminished line capacity, but you're gaining some additional features at the $150 price point. So this is a smaller, lighter reel, but you're also gaining, you still have SVS Infinity, you still have the Hagane body, but you get the MGL Spool 3 with this reel, meaning it's a very low startup inertia spool, letting you cast both lightweights and big baits with equal effectiveness. This is a really nice reel that's available in 2 gear ratios, 7.2 to 1 and 8.2 to 1. But again, the big thing about this is going to be diminished line capacity because of the 70 size spool. Now this little reel weighs in at 6.9 ounces. Now when it comes to line capacity, 12 pound test mono or fluoro, it's going to hold about 85 yards of line. It's going to hold 80 yards of 40 pound Power Pro. So more than enough when you're casting around in reality. Now, other upgrades at 150 price point is you go to SARB shielded anti-rust bearings to go along with the MGL Spool 3, and you go to the cross carbon drag washers, which are great for hard pulling fish. They just wear a lot less quickly than felt drag washers. Now, one last reel in the SLX family is going to get us to that that magic $200 price point, and that is the SLX DC. Now, DC reels are that microcomputer reel that basically helps with anglers casting both into the wind, with the wind, reduces backlashing by using magnets and coils inside the system. Now, this is a fully waterproof system, does not need batteries, and the SLX DC uses the same microcomputer that the Curado DC does. It's the IDC4 microcomputer. Now, with this IDC4 computer, you're also getting the Hagane metal body, you're getting the super free spool, and the S3D spool. So same spec features, 150 size spool, so you're getting that 11 pounds of stopping power. And this, like the others, is available in 3 gear ratios, both left and right-handed, 6.3, 7.2, and 8.2 to 1. This is where we get to the 200 price point, and this is where we're going to move over to the next family of reels, the biggest family of reels, the Shimano's low-profile baitcasting carries. Now, at the $200 price point, just like SLX DC, you're going to find the latest version of Curado, the Curado M. Curado has been the tournament reel for baitcaster users for a number of years. Whether you're a passionate weekend warrior or you're a high-level tournament competitor, Curado has been on the decks of a lot of boats over the years. It has been the mainstay baitcast reel. Curado is the equivalent in low-profile baitcasting to Stratic on the freshwater spinning side. Now, what are you getting at Curado M's level is, well, you get a lot of what you've seen in every reel below this, plus a few other things. So along with that Hagane metal frame, you're also jumping up to Shimano's micro module gearing. So this is where you have that super fine tooth, more teeth connecting, smoother winding power under load. You also jump up to getting X-Ship. That's the double bearing supported pinion gear. Again, this all goes to that extra torque under load. For the braking in the Curado M, it is Shimano's SVS Infinity braking, so it has the 6-pin internal plus external dialability. I did a casting video on this reel when it first came out, and it was incredible. I was throwing a frog like 210 or 220 feet on 65 or 50 pound Power Pro. So really, really great casting reel, and that's because of the MGL Spool 3 that comes with it. So you've got a low startup inertia spool with SVS Infinity braking, with a metal frame, with micro module gearing, with X-Ship. I mean, these are just to name a few of the features. SARB shielded anti-rust bearings, Really a reel that's stacked to perform. Now, when we talk about the gear ratios available, the Curado M is available in 3 gear ratios, both left and right-handed, 6.3, 7.4, and 8.5 to 1, bringing in a blistering 35 or 36 inches of line per handle turn. And the weight of the reel only comes in at 7.6 ounces. So this is a very, very solid reel that's going to perform in really tough conditions. And it's all going to come in a nice, light, compact package. Now, this reel is a 200 size spool. The Curado M is 200 size spool. Now, there is a bunch of Curados. There is a 70, a 150, and a 300, and a 200. So let's not go there just yet. This one here, we're talking about 200 size spool, 11 pounds of stopping power, cross carbon drag washers, all for $199.99. Now, for an extra $10, we're going to move on to the next Curado in the family. And that would be a specialty Curado. That was a technique that became really popular in Japan and is starting to grab a little more in the North American market. That would be the BFS market. So this is the Curado BFS. This is a super low startup inertia spool. This spool is actually designed to cast baits that are under an 1/8 ounce. So really designed for an 1/8 and under. How they've done that is by taking all the mass out of the spool. Every other braking spool in Shimano's lineup has the brakes attached to the side of the spool. In this instance, it doesn't. They've removed the brakes from the side of the spool and put them in the palming side plate, and it is called Shimano's FTB, Finesse Tune Brake. This is a centrifugal magnetic braking system that creates a negative field between the aluminum and the magnets, and it's totally adjustable externally, so you can dial it in, and you can actually remove a couple of the brakes if you want even lighter braking. But the nice thing about this system is that the fact that it does cast incredibly easily. One thing I've noticed from using it, and I used it in one of my shows last year, was that the casting motion for your typical BFS reels needs to be a little bit different than it does for loading up on traditional SVS Infinity or VBS braking systems. I found that a full body, full arm cast using the base of the rod to propel the bait really worked a lot better with this. Now, when we talk about braking and line capacity is very low on BFS reels. It's designed to be. The spools are incredibly shallow. So 40 yards of 8-pound test mono or fluoro it's going to hold. I like to fish mine with 5 or 8-pound Power Pro because of that 1 to 2-pound test diameter. It gives me a little bit extra line capacity. The other thing is it does not have Shimano's 11-pound braking system. It has a 7-pound brake and it has exciting drag sound, which means there's a clicker on the spool that lets you hear when the fish are running. This is really great to have because a lot of times throwing, any of these BFS baits, they have small trebles or small fine wire hooks, and you really don't want to be chucking something oversized. So that is Shimano's BFS Curado, which is available in 1 gear ratio, left and right-handed. Now, for the same price at $210 US MSRP, we're finding the Curado 150 MGL. This is a great tournament reel. This is one of my favorites. The reason being is it's actually surprisingly light. For a 150 size reel, comes in at 6.5 ounces, even though it has that Hagane metal body. It has CI4 side plates on it, but it has all the features that you would come to expect from Curado. Everything from SARB shielded anti-rust bearings to the Hagane body, to micro module gearing, to SVS Infinity braking. I mean, all of the tricks, X-Ship double bearing supported pinion gear, all of this stuff, MGL spool 3. So it is a great casting reel, super lightweight, very durable, very rigid, and available in 3 gear ratios. Now, the ratios on this reel are a little different than the previous Curado. 6.2, 7.4, and 8.1 to 1 on the Curado 150 MGL, and it really makes this reel a phenomenal reel for just about everything. It's my favorite cranking reel on the regular 6.2 model, and then, as a spinnerbait, chatterbait, flipping a jig, frogging reel, it does a lot of great. The only time I really jump up to the 200s is when I want that extra line capacity or I'm throwing heavier rope. Like I'm throwing 25 or 20-pound fluoro or mono, or I'm throwing 65 and 80-pound braid. That's when that 200 size spool really pays off big dividends for me. Now, staying in that 220 price point, we're going to move into Tranx. We're going to step away from Curado because Curado still has 2 more reels in its family. But in that price point, if we're going price low to high, we're going to talk about Tranx, and there's a few Tranx on the market now. There is a 150 and a 200, which are really primarily designed as inshore saltwater reels. They really were designed for that. By removing X-Ship from these two reels, they really made them even more bulletproof for the salt water. But they are technically, they feel like a Curado, they cast like a Curado, they got SVS Infinity, they got all the features. They're missing X-Ship, but they are both sitting in there in the family. And then you would move up to the newest generation of Tranx, which would be the 300 Tranx, and that is the core solid version. That reel is an absolute monster with SVS MD tune casting, in everything else that is in that, with a solid Hagane body, core solid Hagane body, adjustable on the external dial for the casting, great gear ratios, 2 gear ratios, left and right handed, with a power handle on the HG. These reels are really designed to not only move a lot of line, but have a ton of power. Cross carbon drag washers. The new Tranx 300 is one of my favorite upgrades that just happened this past January. Above that would be the Tranx 400, is still the original one. So I would expect that that would be next on the list of things for Shimano to come out with an upgraded version of, or a new design. So Tranx 300 is the latest and greatest in that Tranx family that consists of technically 5 reels: a 150, a 200, a 300, which is the newest, a 400, and a 500 that, much to many's dismay, is only still available in a right-handed reel. Now, jumping back into the Curado family, we're going to move at $250 MSRP, $249.99, the Curado 70 MGL. This reel was designed as a no-holds-barred, small spool, low line capacity reel that can do just about anything from flipping and punching to, casting small crankbaits with its MGL spool. Now, unlike the Curado 150 MGL that has the MGL spool 3, this reel has Shimano's original MGL spool. And other things about this are the gear ratios that it's available in. The Curado 70 MGL is only available in 2 gear ratios, a 7.4 and an 8.1 to 1, but it is available both left and right-handed. Same stopping power, 11 pounds of drag, cross-carbon drag washers, SVS Infinity braking. I mean, really, micro-module gearing, all the really nice bells and whistles that we've seen in Curados when we get up to this level. This is just a smaller line capacity reel that fishes really well and has the MGL spool system. Now, the next 2 reels in the Curado, the last 2 reels in the Curado family, it's such a giant family, would be the Curado DCs. Now, originally, the first one that came out was the Curado DC 150. A couple years ago, Shimano introduced, due to popular demand, a Curado DC 200. These come in at $270 and $280 US, respectively. And really, the big thing about these is the DC technology. All the features, micro-module gearing, SARB bearings, Hagane body, CI4 side plates, all that stuff really great. IDC4 microcomputer is in both of these reels, so which means they have settings 1 through 4, completely waterproof, no batteries required. And how it works is that when you cast these reels, the spool is magnets and coils on each other, and when you cast, it basically spins around each other, creates a charge, powers the microcomputer so that you get 1/1000th of a second adjustments to your braking, all at your fingertips by setting it 1 through 4, 4 giving you the most braking assistance, 1 giving you the least. Recommended settings for this reel, we always tell people, number 4 if you're new to learning bait casting or you're trying to skip under docks or cast into heavy winds. Number 3 would be great for fluorocarbon and monofilament applications. Number 2 we recommend for braided lines like Power Pro. And number 1 is the least amount of braking you're going to get, and that is great for a number of reasons, mainly when you want to hit the cheap seats way in the back and you're casting with the wind. So that is Curado's final 2 in their family, the DC 150 and the Curado 200 DC. Now, when it comes to gear ratios on the DCs, the 150s are available in a 6.2, 7.4, 8.5 to 1, both left and right-handed. And the Curado DC 200 is available in a 7.4 and 8.5 to 1, so HG, XG. These reels are going to be anywhere from 26 to 29 or 30 to 35 inches of line per handle turn throughout the 3 gear ratios. Both of these reels are really great for a number of things, but I always love having these reels for people who are not completely confident with low-profile bait casting. It just gives me that extra assurance that I'm not picking backlashes out at the end of the day. Well, there you have it, guys. That is the first half of this video talking about Shimano reels in low-profile bait casting from $69 up to like the $250 range. If you can do me a favor, click subscribe down below. Also, if you can, hit get notifications. That makes sure our video gets into your feed. Also, if you can, go through this video, figure out what works for you. And if you have a question or comment about the videos, leave a comment down below. We'll get back to you as soon as we can. We love having conversations with you guys. All right, guys, till next time, we're going to go to part 2. We're going to pick up from the missing reel that everybody is talking about, and that would be the Cronarch MGL. What's happening with it? Is there anything on the horizon? We'll see.